So, folks, we're driving down the 101 right now. We're around Fallbrook Avenue and Topanga Canyon Boulevard. By the way, Topanga Canyon Boulevard, another great destination because you've got a lot of hotels and the Warner Center around. They're very, very busy for all categories. I'm having an absolutely enjoyable trip, sharing great information with my driver, Mike. Love his car, love his attitude, and we were just touching on the airport permit that you see in front there. And then the question that I raised was, how did you find the entire process? Did you find it easy to do? Is it very helpful? And then I'll just let the gentleman share a couple of little, a little bit of feedback, what he thinks about the airport permit.
Well, getting the permit was super easy for me because when I watched that video, which is, gives me the information about the rules and regulation at LAX and also as Uber rules, it was pretty simple. You just watch that once and you will be ready to do the test, which I done it just once and I got my permit. So I love, picking up at the airport. And also one of the very, very impressive, let's say, features that Uber has recently added to the app is that when I have a passenger in my car and we are about to get to our destination, either Terminal 1, Terminal 2, 3, all the way to 7, prior to drop him off, I can accept another call from departures, from those pickup points, and that makes it super easy. That means that I can pick up my next rider in 2 minutes, sometimes not even 2 minutes, 1 minute, and then I'm out of airport at the same time with a new rider in my car. Instead of going to the waiting lot, to the parking lot C, I can pick up my next rider at the same time, which is, I love that, and that's perfect.
So, folks, that is a huge point my driver Mike just brought up right there, because sitting over at the waiting lot at LAX, which is 7-8 minutes away, and then sometimes fighting through that traffic and meeting an irate passenger who's been waiting for 7 or 10 minutes can definitely be a burden on the driver and maybe even result in a negative rating. I mean, he's getting in the car having had to wait for 10 minutes. So as my driver explained very, very clearly, is that he is about to pull into those terminals, let's say Southwest 1 or now 2 or 3 Delta, and he already has the next trip set up, if I'm hearing you correctly. Yes, and he's exiting within 2 minutes, like you said. So he's making more money. He's not wasting that 7 minutes out, 7 minutes in. So he's not wasting 15 minutes. He has a far more excited and happy and appreciative passenger in his car, because wow, this guy got me like within 2 minutes right here. I'm super impressed. And that's just going to help his bottom line. It's going to help his tips. It's going to help his ratings. And it's going to make him more money at the end of the week. Is that pretty accurate?
That's true.
So as we're driving along the 101, and I especially chose a nice long trip so I could have a good long conversation, the one question that I posed, and I immediately felt the enthusiasm and the love for the gentleman's job, was, when you're driving around interacting with passengers, Mike was telling me he often educates them about the company and how you can earn money. So, if you would like to share a few words on that.
Well, in two years of driving with Uber, I had many great conversation and interaction with people, and I always encourage people who are looking for driving with Uber, and I have always gave them the positive information, whatever they can do on their own time, on their own schedule to drive with Uber. So these are the people that I have referred to Uber. And also with my riders also, we always had a great conversation about how great this company or this business model had affected on the community, whether it's saved a lot of lives, especially late at nights on like weekends or Saturday night, Friday night. A lot of people are relying on this to go around safely, and also they are telling me how affordable, how convenient, and how easy is this app to use.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing you, I mean, you feel good about offering them the safety. Let's say on a Saturday or a Friday night they've had a couple of drinks and they're coming out from a restaurant and a club, and you can literally bring them home safely. They have a driver that will get them from A to Z, correct?
Yes, sir. And I would like to add this. I have my own theory. I have seen some drivers, they might be pretty much maybe uncomfortable for having an intoxicated rider in their car.
Right.
Because this person is probably loud, probably wants something like loud music, anything. But my theory is like, you know guys, I respect this guy, no matter how drunk is this person,
right,
how intoxicated, I respect and I believe this person deserves to be treated the best way, to provide the best service. Why? A, because he was smart enough not to drive, and B, he could have been driving next to me somewhere here. So I appreciate him that he is in my car safe.
So that's amazing. I mean, the fact that you go in with that attitude, offering that type of service, and there'll be thousands and thousands of people watching this video, and listen very, very carefully to what Mike said, right? So if you're going out there and enjoying yourself, and you've had a great evening, and you've had a couple of vodkas, you were smart enough to take an Uber, and you were lucky enough to be sitting in this car with a gentleman with this attitude. One sec. So we're on the 405, one of my favorite highways. Being very sarcastic here, because it just robs me of too many valuable hours. This 405 here with these 6 lanes. We're passing Sepulveda here. We'll be coming up to Skirball, and my driver wanted to share an interesting story that he had encountered, and I said, you know what, go ahead, tell it to our people.
Yes, so last week on Saturday night I had a call, and I was driving around the Canaan Road towards PCH. Anyways, I get a call. It was around 11 p.m. It was pretty late, and as you know, the Canaan Road, it gets really, really dark, and especially on Saturday night there are some venues like Calamigos Ranch, like Malibu Cafe, other places, other great venues. Anyways, I received a call from a gentleman, from a couple actually, and apparently there was their very first time using Uber, and they were visiting some friends and they were participating in a wedding from East Coast. Anyways, when I got the request, I ended up following the navigation, and I ended up in the middle of nowhere, and I was like, it can't be here, because it was like full of darkness.
Yeah.
And I tried to call this person, telling me that I'm here, and he had a very bad service. So his phone was literally no use, because that area has like no service at all. I just heard him say, "Sir, please get to us. It's too dark, and we don't know where to go."
Okay.
So, anyways, again, I'm going around that area in the middle of darkness, looking for these people. I could not find them. Again, I'm trying to calling them. At the end, I thought maybe they are somewhere like more inside that pin that was dropped already.
Yes.
So I was using this car, and this is like a 4-wheel drive car. What I did, I tried to get even more closer off ramp, and eventually by flashing my lights multiple times,
smart,
and even stopping my car and looking around, I was able to find this guy in the middle of darkness. And guess what? The wedding was over, and this guy, for some reason, they missed their shuttle. So when I got there, this gentleman and his wife, they coming to me, literally hugging me and telling me, "Oh my God, you saved us."
That's wonderful.
And it was so emotional. It was so lovely. Just seeing them how they
happy they were.
Appreciated this company. And they were like, thank you very much. And thanks to Uber, you just saved our life. Guess what? 11 p.m. at the middle of darkness, nothing around, no service. And I stayed there because I felt that there is someone here needs my help.
Nice.
And an Uber driver, because I look at it something beyond making money. It's something service. It's something like a great memory to this person. So this person hugs me and tells me, "You have to stay with me tonight. We have to go park." I was like, no, I should be driving. But thank you so much. And he gave me great feedback. You can see my account.
Fantastic.
And that was a great memory, and I really love to share that with you guys. So I hope you do that, and you
So to all the drivers out there, you heard exactly what happened here, and you may find yourself in that situation as well, where you just simply don't know where the passenger is. And I tell you what, a lot of people give up. A lot of people don't have the patience. A lot of people will just leave the passenger stranded there. But it takes an exceptional person who cares about his client, his passenger, who will make that effort and use his smarts, his skill set to find him. So the fact, what I heard is that you were flashing the lights, you went a little bit off-road, you were very determined to find this person in this utter sheer dark. I know the area. I live in Calabasas. In Canaan at night, it's super, super dark. And the fact that my driver right now actually connected with them and shared this very emotional story, and they were super happy. I mean, as he shared, they were hugging, and I understand those situations. I've been in those, and it'll take an exceptional person with exceptional service to provide such service. And you know what? The feedback usually after those type of trips ends up on the phone, because the people will take the time and spend 2 minutes giving you a great feedback, which goes back to head office in San Francisco, which is read, which is noted. And it only takes 2 or 3 of those stories to show up on a person's app, and Uber knows who and what they have, and they will nurture that driver. That's a fact. So great story. I can totally relate to that because I've been in 1 or 2 of those situations myself. And no doubt he got his 5 stars, and he got some really, really good feedback. The fact that they even wanted to invite you out, I can also relate to that. I've had that happen to me as well. That just shows that they felt like in a bit of a panicky situation. He got in there, he helped them out, and he got them to the destination.
Yes, sir.
So folks, we're almost at the intersection of 10 West and the 405. Usually always backs up around this area. Pretty much to our left, that's West LA, and you head over to UCLA in that direction. And then as we are talking about LAX, a fantastic suggestion came up, which Uber management should take note of or look at very, very closely. And I'm going to allow Mike to elaborate a little bit about this idea. I think it has a ton of potential, and actually is a win-win situation for drivers and for passengers. If you want to share a few words on that.
Yes, well, talking about LAX pickup, sometimes there are some drivers, well, like we spoke about destination, which I enjoy that's a great way to manage my time, my driving, where I want to drive. The thing is, at LAX, I do not have the option to set up my destination. Let's say I'm from Ventura County, I'm from Simi Valley, and I've been driving since 8 in the morning all the way to 4 or 5 p.m. and I'm almost done. I want to go back home.
Yes.
If I'm at the airport and I'm getting the call and I don't know this person's destination, when I get to his pickup location, he gets in my car, and I see, oh, he wants to go to San Diego.
Correct.
So it's literally 3 hours of driving. That means that I'm gonna be there around 8 o'clock, and then I'm gonna be back to my home around 11 p.m. at night. So the thing that I would like to suggest is that we can just allow drivers to set up their destinations. If a driver he's from Ventura County, he can get a passenger to Ventura County. If this person is from Anaheim, same thing, he can take someone to Orange County. But this is sometimes it's scary, to be honest, because if it's 5 o'clock and I'm almost done and I'm accepting a ride at LAX, I have either to accept it,
correct,
and then go there and risk it and say maybe this is a very super long out of my way, or getting there, and the thing that I don't like to do is to decline the ride. So in this situation, you know, despite that, even myself, I do not like to cancel any ride, but in this situation I have to decline because it's just really out of my way. So I hope Uber comes up allowing us to set up my destination at LAX. Whoever wants to go any directions, he's open, he can go there, and if he wants to stay in his area around LAX, he can do that too.
So just to recap, if I understood you correctly, you've had a very long day, you've been driving all day, and you pretty much come up to the end of the day at 5 o'clock, and you know, you're ready to go home, and you find yourself down at LAX, and this could be any airport in the United States, could be any airport worldwide that this feature could be introduced at, is that my driver now has the ability to set a destination so he can control that day, that trip a little bit more effectively. Currently that is not possible at LAX. So if he thinks his day is over, and for some reason he arrives and the passenger suddenly has booked a trip to San Diego, oh my gosh, you know, that's another 2.5 hours down north and another 2.5 hours back. Driver said he'd be back by 11 o'clock. Totally right. That's a good calculation. You know, what feature can Uber bring out to buffer that or to remedy that, so that it's a win-win situation for the driver and for the passenger, where the driver can actually set a destination?
Absolutely.
Makes sense. Absolutely. Right? Makes perfect sense.
Yes, sir.
So we heading down here 10 West, right? That takes us down to the beaches in Los Angeles. Would you say you enjoy the Santa Monica area, the Venice area? Is it been good for your business?
Yes, sir. It's a lovely area, and I enjoy driving this area.
And age-wise, your passengers, I mean, is it more a younger crowd, or is it all across the board?
Well, most of the time, I have had many young, like tourist people from other places visiting this area.
Yes.
So many visitors from other states, from Europe, from Asia, in this area.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just looking at the phone there, and the gentleman's given 5,957 rides. He's 43 rides short of 6,000. It is super impressive for 2 years, and he's still speaking so passionately about UberX. Just absolutely love his attitude. Actually love what I'm learning in the car. You know, you don't know it all. I don't claim I know it all. I learn from each and every individual, and that's how we should all respect each other out there, is that we all provide valuable information and share it as a family and grow together. You know, why not share some of your tips or tricks in Los Angeles, how to make more money or how to handle that? Because, you know, it's a big pizza pie, and we don't have to be selfish, we don't have to be greedy. You know, there's enough people in the city, 7 million people, that we can move around from A to Z so that we all stay happy. So the attitude of my driver is just beyond. I feel like I've learned a lot here. We probably only minutes away from my destination, where I'm excited to pick up one of my new vehicles, and trying to think of a nice ending question for this video, you know, before it's published early next week, sharing it with Uber, sharing it with US drivers, sharing it with international drivers, that hopefully you learn from this trip as much as I did. And I claim to be a veteran, made a very, very handsome living out of this, consulting, building out fleets, owning my own fleet of 27 cars, having driven nowhere close to this gentleman's amount of trips. I think I'm short of 4,000 trips to date. But I don't know it all. That's for sure. As I realized on this trip, I don't know it all. It's very much in your attitude, right? It's very much how you approach the job. That's what I learned in these 20 plus minutes so far. And I think I'm gonna think of one last question before we reach our destination. And now I want to share with passengers out there, riders. I'm a rider. I always push 3 words, which is, rate and tip, right? Understand that these people provide a phenomenal service out there, right? If you're going into a restaurant and the waitress is going to serve you, we judge that person by the service he or she provided, not necessarily about how the meal tasted, but how did he or she make me feel during that experience. And we tip them up to 20%. What should stop you from tipping your driver at least a minimum of 20%, considering that he or she has wear and tear on the car, has to pay for the tires, has to pay for the gasoline, and is doing the very best to get you safely back home safely. Just like the gentleman said, if you pick up an intoxicated driver, it's super valuable for that person to arrive in healthy in one piece at their home. So ask yourself right here and now, is that not worth more than a 20% tip on a sensational service that the individual has provided? The passenger should adopt the same mindset as going into a restaurant or taking a hairdresser. It's a service that is provided and should be rewarded correctly. How do you feel about the tipping platform being introduced, and do you feel that, like in the UberX category, there is the opportunity to get a tip after a phenomenal service? How do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, I would say this is a great feature that Uber has recently added to the app, which is many people, they would ask me before tipping on the app, it was like, oh, sorry, I would like to tip you, but I don't have cash. So because they really enjoyed the ride, they really enjoyed the service.
Yes.
And they wanted to show some sort of appreciation, but since there was no option and they had carried no cash, they were just ended up saying, oh, sorry, I don't have cash. But now on the system, which I get a lot of tips every day,
I'm not surprised. Yeah,
service,
exactly. Yes.
I really enjoy that. And people are the riders also, because some of them, they feel they have to leave tip, and it's very simple. They leave very good comments, very good tip, and very good rating. So that's a perfect way to show drivers that their good job is being appreciated.
So on a Monday to Monday schedule, you're starting at 4 a.m. on Monday morning till the following 4 a.m. You do feel like with this new feature, it's impacted your earnings, and you feel, it sounds like you feel validated. Yes. For receiving a tip after providing a A1 service.
Absolutely.
And you're probably also helping to educate the passenger a little bit, that they can tip now. It doesn't necessarily always have to be cash.
Yes.
But they now have the opportunity to do an in-app tip. So have you actually personally helped a couple of passengers understand that they can actually tip now?
Yes, I have also educated many riders.
Okay.
This is how Uber works, and this is how you leave any feedback, any comments.
Okay.
Also, if you would like, hear how you could tip on the app.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that's good, and riders or passengers pay close attention to that. The sequence now is you know, when you get out of that car and you've received the service like I've just received, right? First, you revert to those stars. You can tip 1 to 5. You know, there's no reason to not give your driver a 5 rating if he's gone beyond, right? Like I've received right now. I think we're coming up on the left.
Yes,
and then right afterwards, after you've done that, the very next step is that in the app, like I'm going to show you right now, because we're going to end the trip very soon, you then have the ability to tip, right? So I'm trying to
right now.
No, you don't have to end it. We'll end it over there. I'm just trying to get the screen so I can there we are, so I can just show the, yeah, and in the gas station's fine. And the cool thing is I hear that sound going off, which means the next one's already on the way. That's fantastic. This is a busy area, busy time, so you know, hopefully it takes you in another nice long. Cool. So I'm at my destination, and then Mike on his side will end the trip. Then on my side, it will show up that the trip has ended. There it is. And now I rate the gentleman. Give me 1 second here, please. Bear with me.